I'll check that out.
How are you?
Snap away, I don't know if I should.
We have a few seats up front. If anyone,
Be working.
no one likes to sit up front, I know, but. Pat, big fan of. Not like a church. There's literally like 6 seats right here. Ashley, come on. No one's gotta do it. Here we go. Right here now. They look like front row people.
We got seats right up here. Yeah.
Yeah, is it a planning board?
Orangeburg's leading the way.
It's, and then you. Hold on, want to make sure.
Call this meeting in order. Pledge Supervisor Conover.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody here today. This is a special day for Warren County and a special day for our first responders. And we have to go through a little bit of our meeting first, and we'll start off with a roll call.
Mr. Conover.
Here.
Mr. Mayday. Mr. Diamond.
Here.
Ms. Gilligan. Here. Ms. Turner. Here. Mr. Bruno.
Here.
Mr. Driscoll.
Here.
Mr. Patchit.
Here.
Mr. Drossy.
Here.
Mr. Bean. Mr. Dickinson. Mr. Merlino.
Here.
Mr. Stroud.
Here.
Mr. Wild.
Here.
Mr. McGowan. Mr. Strainer.
Here.
Mr. Etu.
Here.
Mr. Thomas.
Here.
Ms. Runyon. Chairman Garrity.
Here.
Quorum is established.
Okay. First item of business, a motion to approve the minutes of December 15th and January 2nd, subject correction by the clerk. Motion by Supervisor Molino, second by Supervisor Diamond. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next, as customary, we open up the floor to any public comment. Anybody wish to address the board today on any topic before we go into our presentations? Seeing none. Okay. I'll ask Administrator Taffin. We'll go to the other podium and we have something for the folks present.
Good morning.
Morning.
On the afternoon of January 5th, 2024, a bus headed south on Interstate 87 was involved in a rollover accident that led to 2 serious injuries, one of which turned out to be fatal, and other lesser injuries for the many passengers who were on the bus. In all, 23 people were aboard the bus, which originated in Montreal and was headed to New York City. The accident triggered a countywide response to what could have been a mass casualty incident. 12 ambulances from 8 EMS agencies, 3 fire company vehicles and equipment, Warren County Sheriff Patrol officers, New York State Police, and numerous command vehicles all headed to the scene in a difficult to access area between exits 23 and 22 on southbound. Warrensburg Fire Company immediately assumed incident command and began coordinating recovery, triage, and evacuation procedures. They were expertly assisted by the EMS agencies and the police officers at the scene. The Warren County Office of Emergency Services team was quickly on site to assist and played an important role throughout the weekend. Various New York State agencies also played integral roles in the overall response to this accident, and we greatly appreciated their continued involvement. One seriously injured passenger was evacuated by air to Albany, and 10 other passengers with various injuries were transported to the Glens Falls Hospital, where they received immediate and exceptional care. The non-injured passengers were transported to the Lake George Fire Company by school buses from the Warrensburg School District and the Lake George School District. At that point, the Lake George Fire Company seamlessly assumed incident command from Warrensburg. Throughout the entire evacuation and recovery process, the Warren County 911 dispatch effectively coordinated all efforts and kept agencies continually informed about the event. It was a phenomenal effort by that team. As organizations scrambled on Friday to find a place for the passengers to stay for the night, the staff at the Fort William Henry Hotel stepped up to offer free room and board. Warren County Veterans Services volunteered to shuttle passengers from Glens Falls Hospital to the hotel. The Red Cross was consistently on site at Lake George Fire Company to meet passenger needs. In fact, the Red Cross initially set up a shelter at the Glens Falls Presbyterian Church to house the passengers, and the Holiday Inn and Resort began preparing meals for them before the Fort William Henry stepped in and offered their assistance. Fort William Henry continued to house and feed many of the passengers throughout the weekend, transporting them to retrieve their personal belongings and baggage. Particularly notable was the Fort William Henry staff hosted and assisted the family members of the passenger who lost their life in the accident. Upstate Transit transported a group of passengers to New York City late Friday evening and the following day. This was a wide-ranging community effort that exemplified who we are in Warren County, a community that will help at a moment's notice and that cares for everyone, residents and visitors alike. This is why we do our tabletop exercises. Most of us who used to be in the Army said that plans go out the window on first contact, and that's kind of what happens all the time in these situations. But in this case, our countywide training paid off with everyone understanding their responsibilities and focusing on them expertly. So as you look around the room today, the first responders represented here, you should recognize that these are our neighbors, and these are the same people, many of whom are volunteers who will respond to the citizens of Warren County with the same commitment and dedication. We should all be thankful for their service. The Warren County Board of Supervisors offers its thanks to all those who responded to this incident, folks who are the backbone of our county, and folks who routinely put others before themselves day after day. You are seen and you're greatly appreciated. Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to read the list of agencies, and Chairman Garrity is going to present certificates. First, Warrensburg Fire Company. Lake George Fire Company. North Queensbury Fire Company.
How you doing?
All right. Warrensburg EMS. Lake George EMS. Bolton EMS.
Congratulations. Thanks.
North Warren EMS. Queensbury EMS. West Glens Falls EMS. Johnsburg EMS. Okay, the following three EMS organizations agencies provided backup to the county as our EMS individuals were at the scene. Fort Anne EMS, Fort Edward EMS, and Moreau EMS, and Scroon Lake EMS. Glen Falls Fire Department EMS. New York State Police. Warren County Sheriff's Office. Warren County Office of Emergency Services. Fort William Henry Corporation. Holiday Inn of Lake George. Glens Falls Hospital. American Red Cross Northwestern New York chapter, Northeastern New York chapter. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Warrensburg Central School District. Lake George Central School District. Warren County Veterans Services. It's who? Warren County District Attorney's Office. Upstate Transit Company. New York State Office of Emergency Management. New York State Department of Homeland Security. New York State Emergency Medical Services. And the New York State Office of Fire Prevention and Control.
Yeah. This just goes to show you in a time of emergency, sometimes you practice these emergencies, sometimes you don't. But all these agencies worked together that day and did what they had to do, whether take care of the patients, remove patients, but work together as a group. And that's what's important about these agencies in here today. Also, like to thank Fort William Henry and everybody for stepping up and offering housing and meals for those who needed them. And that's kind of what we do as a community in Warren County. We're very proud of that. I'm very proud of everybody in this room today, and especially my own fire company, Warrensburg. I know most of those, I better know those guys, but and the other thing, we will take a short recess. So anybody who wants to stay and listen to the rest of our board meeting, you're welcome to. If you have other things you want to get to. That will allow you a few minutes to get out. But anyways, my heartfelt congratulations. I wasn't in town that day. Had something I had to attend to, but I just know talking to our agency, the cooperation was great. So I want to thank everybody here and I thank you for taking time out to come here today. We appreciate it. Thanks.
Dan.
Where the hell? Where's the loudmouth? He's in.
People make generations.
I don't know where he is.
So living there.
We got some movies.
Other one.
Some of the, Disney movies.
Okay,
Oh, Ben's here somewhere.
all right, we'll reconvene the meeting and the next item of business is go through the state of the county for 2023. And
Ready?
on behalf of myself and the staff, I want to thank everybody in this room for making 2023 a very good year for Warren County. As we head into 2024, we expect many other good things. The first slide will be on the budget. 2024 budget, 192 million was adopted and marked the fourth straight year of Warren County property tax rate decrease. Fund balance hit a record high of $44.3 million. Continued unfunded mandates from the state combined with rising cost of goods and services will strain the budget 2024 and beyond. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at the budget message from the governor yet, but there are some unknowns in there. It's just starting to come out, so we'll have to see how that affects us. Tax revenue. Sales tax receipts continue to trend up, showing a strong tourism industry and economic base. Sales tax was up over 4% for the year, resulting in $7.6 million additional sales tax revenue. This resulted in an additional $4 million for the county after distribution to the towns and village. Both property tax and sales tax continue to be the lowest in the state, and we are one of the 3 counties in the state to be at 7% sales tax. Our 2023 accomplishments. So fitting that the Board of Supervisors passed the First Responder Tax Exemption Act in 2023. I'm not sure how many people will use it, but at least it's a start in the right direction to try to serve our first responders a little bit better. Recognize the invaluable service of our first responders. It shows Warren County's unwavering support for those who keep us safe. And that sure was on display today. Each and every person that was in the room today has their own little piece of what they do to keep us all safe, whether it be the professional fire departments in Glens Falls or the volunteer fire departments throughout the county. American Rescue Plan Act. Finalized allocation of $12.4 million in ARPA funding. We assisted businesses and community organizations to recover from COVID-19. Significant investment was made into community mental health capacities. That's where we did put a lot of money into mental health, and I think it's needed. And we may not see the fruits of that this year, but in future years coming, because mental health is an issue for everyone in the country and also in Warren County. Planning for the future. We kicked off Warren County 24, the Warren County Comprehensive Plan. And those meetings have already started to take place. And there's one coming up, I think, next week in the near future at Queensbury.
Next weekend.
Next week. We outlined, that will help us outline the direction the county will take for decades to come. And it was also keep our focus on top priorities in coming years. Transportation initiatives. This was a big one for the county, and recognizing the continual need for a viable public transportation system in the county, the board approved merger of the Glens Falls Transit Association and the Capital District Transportation Authority. Now, this was huge for us because this merger is funded by 0.25% of the county's mortgage recording tax. And the county looked at that mortgage tax money was going into the general fund before we decided to merge with Glens Falls. It was the right thing for the city. It's the right thing for the county as a whole. And I was glad that we had, I think, full support of the Board of Supervisors do that. This will eventually provide reliable, comprehensive public transportation across the county. Hopefully in the future, once they get settled in, which I think they are with their roots right now we'll see them start to expand the transportation opportunities up north. So we're hoping that works out. The other transportation initiative, I'm not sure it's on here, but I just would like to point out that now we have transportation for our seniors to go to make their trips to Glens Falls. This was a initiative undertaken by veterans. Actually, our Office of Aging stepped up and got transportations for our seniors from all the outlying towns in the county. It's a free transportation. And I know the seniors in Warrensburg who used to go every other week to Glens Falls now are taking it, and they're very happy with the service. That was another step up as far as transportation. Infrastructure improvements, large scale overhaul of Quaker Road in Queensbury. 2 bridge replacement projects in the town of Johnsburg. Continue evaluation and replacement of culverts. Continue improvements to county roads. As you can see in the storms, even just recently, no matter how well you plan out these replacements of culverts, we still have problems with the way the washouts come. Safe to say that the bridges that we replaced in Johnsburg, the impact of these latest storms didn't affect the bridges themselves. But it's something that we need to keep working on. I think when Irene hit a few years back, they started sizing the culverts for what they call the 100-year storms. And even with our best efforts, it's expensive proposition. And it seems to be that every culvert you go to replace, it has $1 million price tag to it. And so they're expensive, but we need to continue doing that. We need to continue to make improvements to our roads. We talked about a lot of that in 2008, 2009. When we were in trouble with our budget, that was one of the areas that we cut was roads. I know because I was budget officer back then in 2008, 2009. And that only comes back to hurt you in the future. I think the current administration at the DPW has done a good job identifying the roads, and the projects that they've done recently are good. But we need to keep our eye on this, and we need to keep our eye on these culvert replacements because they are expensive. And I do believe we have a few roads in reduced transportation right now because of culvert washouts of this last storm. Support the SUNY Adirondack. The Board of Supervisors partnered with Washington County Board of Supervisors to increase the support for SUNY Adirondack. This brings both county shared contributions in line with the community college goals established years ago. Funding for SUNY Adirondack will be funded at 1/3 from the counties, 1/3 from the state, and 1/3 from tuition. And just briefly looking at the state budget, I think the funding from the state remained flat for the community colleges in the upcoming years, right? So
it's
you
less
know,
than.
we do have a plan in place to meet the third, and we should continue to work on that. Did you say that it was flat, right? Or,
The state is less than a third. No.
okay, yeah. Emergency preparedness. The Office of Emergency Services launched the Ready Warren County smartphone app. Crucial tool for emergency notifications ensuring safety of our citizens. OES also launched the Warren County Regroup app to provide timely notification of emergencies and other incidents to the Warren County workforce. And I think they're both working pretty well, and they get used as needed. Real property tax, real property. We conducted a successful property auction in Warren County. We realized 17 million in total property sales. We recouped $230,000 in unpaid property taxes. Now, this is kind of an unknown because based on a federal lawsuit, we don't know if we'll be able to keep this money in the future. There are several lawsuits going on across the state in different counties now. After the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a property owner, I think out in Minnesota, that it will have an impact on us in the future until we know how it's going to affect Warren County.
There was
A lot of our money went into an environmental fund. where we were able to clean up properties that for a long time the county wouldn't touch because they had an environmental problem on there. We used the excess that we got from the sales, some of these real property sales to rectify the environmental issues on these properties. So going forward, it's kind of an unknown right now. John?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just noticed it says 17 million. It was 1.7 million. So we missed a decimal point there. There was also a bill concerning what you're talking about, what happens to the proceeds, a moratorium on that, but the governor has vetoed that just recently, a couple weeks ago.
But it will, it will affect our real property tax auction in the future. Community initiatives, support for the 50th anniversary balloon festival, which was a massive undertaking at the Warren County Airport, supported by the county workforce. And I know Supervisor Stroud and many of you in this room partake in the balloon festival this year. And we certainly appreciate it. I think it came off without a hitch, and the launches were pretty good, right? So, we provided $3 million in the Oxley tax funds to Lake George Winter Coalition to open up Winter Dreams, an event at Fort William Henry. This event will spearhead the Lake George region's effort to become a year-round destination. And I don't know if you've been watching any of the emails we get, but it's been getting very good press out there. And I think that it's still pretty steady. Looking out the window now and seeing some snow certainly helps our efforts up in this area. Lake George TV made its debut, providing a new video platform to grow local businesses. Over 400 videos and over 25,000 viewers today. This is Jesse Jackson's dream. He showed it to us a couple of years ago, and it's worked out very well. I think I get nothing but positive feedback from the videos that we've seen and how that's going to work. And hats off to Jesse and Mr. Larkin for taking that on. And he had a vision, and he just needed to get it to us and convince us that it was the right vision. And then, as I said earlier, under transportation, Office of Aging and Veteran Services partnered to provide transportation to county seniors and veterans. The service is free to Up County residents. And like I said, if you're in a community that's not using this, you should reach out to Office of Aging and set it up for your seniors. Moving into 2024. Continue our efforts to address broadband access for all Warren County citizens. Refocus our commitment to assist providing affordable housing options across the county, which is very important to all the communities. Continue to recognize our fiscal responsibility in delivering balanced budgets while minimizing the impact to our county taxpayer. Build on the success of our merger with CDTA and enhance public transportation across the county. Provide those essential services to our citizens and renew efforts to support mental health initiatives. Strengthen our support to the region's tourism industry. Actively seek ways to bring new businesses into the county while retaining the businesses and industries we currently have. Obviously, we took a little hit last week when Angelo Dynamics announced they were going to move out of Queensbury. Enhance our partnership with nonprofit organizations and businesses to play a vital role in the lives of our county residents. Communicate effectively across the Board of Supervisors and maintain transparency with our citizens. Those are some of the goals and some of their accomplishments for last year. Again, I'd like to welcome the new supervisors. We have a lot of things going on in the county. And I think everybody brings a different aspect of how they think we should be doing things. And we will listen to everybody's ideas moving forward. And I look forward to a very good year in 2024. And again, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the staff and the county employees. None of these things would have happened without a good staff or having great county employees. They put their efforts into doing good work for all the residents. It's not an easy task. You know, there's all sorts of jobs that go on through the county. Some we know about, some we don't know about. And it's remarkable. And it's just like what you witnessed here before with all these agencies in the county coming together on a mass casualty incident. Same thing happens at the county. If we need help, we have agencies all across the county, whether it be internal, external, they all work together on many of our initiatives. So that's my state of the county for the upcoming year. I look forward to working with everybody. I look forward to continuing what we need to accomplish. We do have, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some bright spots in Warren County, but we need to manage our finances good in the future. As they said, we had a pretty healthy fund balance, but you can eat that up with a few storms and replacing culverts here and there and everywhere else. And there again, we'll have to wait till the state releases their full budget so we understand what impact that may have on us in the future. But I think hats off to Lake George for their revitalization grant they got for the village and the town. That's going to work out well. And as I said in my remarks about that, that's good for all of us. If Lake George prospers, we all seem to prosper. So I'm very happy about that. And I wish everybody a great new year. So with that being said, that's my report. And I'm going to go on to committee reports. And we didn't have any committees. So unless somebody would like to comment now on the state of the county, we'll move on to the administrator. Does anybody have anything to offer to us? Would like to offer? Mr. Merlino.
Thank you, Chairman. Just the Warren County Tourism and Occupancy Tax meeting is this Tuesday at 11 a.m. to 11:30 to 1. And we got a couple of new people on the county on that Tourism and Occupancy Tax Committee. Anyone needing any information can call me or see the tourism department. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on. Thank you, Chairman.
Anybody else? Thomas, Supervisor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Joseph Warren Museum Committee met briefly this morning for about 20 minutes to half an hour. Just to recap where we're at, and currently they're finalizing the drawings and the specs for the reconstruction of the museum. It's going out to bid here in about a week or a little better, and we expect to get the bids back first part of February and hope to present it to the board for approval in March.
Supervisor Driscoll.
Thank you, Chairman. This morning, John Bowe from the Cornell Corporate Extension of Warren County is with us. Prior to the meeting, I dropped off their monthly newsletter. Extension has their organizational meeting tomorrow morning up in Warrensburg at their facilities. I also invite and encourage board members, if you haven't taken a tour of Cooperative Extension, to get in touch with them and schedule a time when you can go up and take a walk through. Thank you.
The Warren County 2040, the next public meeting is this Monday at SUNY Adirondack at 6 p.m.
SUNY?
Yes.
SUNY Adirondack. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? I'll turn it over to Mr. Naffa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Short report today. Month of January and February conducting check-in sessions. Larry. All right.
Thanks.
Conducting feedback sessions with department heads, discussing the results of 2023 and establishing goals for 2024. Conducted interview for self-insurance administrator. We'll present that recommendation to the committees this month. Had several after-action report meetings or after-action meetings on the bus accident. There are some still to come. It was great results overall, and we've said enough about that today, but we're learning a lot in those after-action reports, in those after-action meetings. Held several meetings this month on ARPA. There are substantial amounts still of award funds that have still been not obligated, and the money has to be obligated by the 31st of December 2024, or it returns to the federal government. We will be meeting with selected recipients to assess their ability to obligate and ultimately spend the funds awarded by the ARPA committee. Now, the ARPA committee has been inactivated. All ARPA issues will be taken to the finance committee in the future. So if we have any recommended changes to the ward, to any of the wards, we'll bring those to the finance committee over the next few months. Our efforts on the housing issues and develop strategic objectives from the recent Warren County housing study have begun. We've asked Labella to help us establish some concrete objectives from the housing study that we can accomplish at the county, and we'll coordinate with the town and city planning offices, regional planning board, EDC, LDC, and other partners so that we can coalesce around a few achievable goals to address our housing challenges. The assigned councils moved to new offices in Monument Square, Travelers Building, 333 Glen, whatever you want to call it. It looks pretty good. The press was there. Spectrum News was there to talk to them, and also the Post Star was there to just announce that the assigned council has moved and show their new location. It's going to be a good setup for them down there, a lot better than they had here. No further information on CSE negotiations since our last meeting. Employee anniversary dates. Susan Ringler, public defender at 20 years. At 25 years, Betsy Henkel from DPW. At 31 years, Craig Briggs from Public Health. At 33 years, Rebecca Hill from Social Services. And at 34 years, Bob Busey from Probation. Some other notable anniversaries this month. Kevin Garrity at 18 years. Gene Merlino at 18 years. Ron Conover, 14 years. Dennis Dickinson at 12 years, and John Stroud at 10 years. So we thank you all for your service to Warren County. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Report of county attorney.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm going to reserve providing a detailed litigation and liability report for the Personnel Committee. And I will coordinate with the chair of the Personnel Committee what that will look like. It may extend over more than one meeting. But if you are unfamiliar or interested in the current lawsuits and the status and potential liabilities that may attach to any of them, the Personnel Committee will be hopefully in executive session to discuss those matters in detail. One matter I did want to touch on today is the annual financial disclosure statement requirement for all officers and employees who are mandated reporters, which does include all the members of the Board of Supervisors. Currently, they are due on or before January 31st. We're a little less than 50% for the Board of Supervisors currently. They do get filed with my office. I would remind everyone that along with the financial disclosure statement, you must also provide the certificate of completion for the online ethics training, as that's required by the Code of Ethics that's in effect for Warren County. And I would ask, if at all possible, try to, for not just the supervisors, but across the county, to do your best to get those in next week when you're here for committee meetings. File it with my office. We date stamp it when we receive it, and then it becomes part of the system of records. The process is that they will be provided to the Board of Ethics once the Board of Ethics is appointed for their review and potential follow-up. Secondly, on that same topic, I just wanted to ensure that everyone was on the same page regarding the filing of the outside interest form. And what that is that's a form that's also part of the Code of Ethics. And I was looking to pull it up on my screen, but I don't think that's going to happen because I'm not seeing it here. It's It's required anytime there's a contract or some kind of an interest with an outside company or a not-for-profit that does business with Warren County. It doesn't mean that it's a for-profit contract. It can also be, in the case of a not-for-profit, grant money or an award of occupancy tax money or ARPA tax money or any of the other types of funds that flow through Warren County to the various and different entities. The outside interest form basically puts everyone on notice that there's a potential for a conflict regarding that entity and the individual who files the form. If anyone has any questions on whether they have a relationship that would require that form to be completed and filed, please contact me and I'll guide you through that process to the best of my ability. It just seems like it's a good time to address it as we're working through our financial disclosure statements to make sure everybody, not just on this board, but throughout the counties in compliance, especially with that second document, the outside interest form. So subject to any questions that anyone has, that's my report for this month. Thank you.
Any questions for the attorney? Being communications.
We have the county auditor's report of real property tax corrections for December 2023. Letter from Kevin Hajos, Superintendent of Public Works, appointing April Fiorentino as Deputy Superintendent of Public Works Administration effective January 1, 2024. And a notice from the town of Queensbury that the local Board of Health will hold a public hearing on January 22nd at 7 p.m. at the Queensbury Activities Center to consider an application for sewage disposal variances.
Okay, we're going to reading the resolutions.
Proclamations 1 through 3, resolution numbers 11 through 25, 3 certificates of appointment and floor resolution numbers 1 and 2 were distributed to the Board of Supervisors and posted to the Warren County website on Friday, January 12th, 2024. Proclamations before you are number 1, Mental Wellness Month, number 2, Blood Donor Month, and number 3, Human Trafficking Prevention Month. A motion is needed to bring floor resolution number 1 to the floor.
We have a motion by Supervisor Bruno to bring floor resolution number 1, second by Supervisor Wild. Any discussion on floor resolution number 1? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, floor resolution number 1 will now be resolution number 26 and a motion to bring floor resolution number 2 to the floor.
Motion by Supervisor Bruno. Do we have a second? Supervisor Gracia on a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, floor resolution number 2 will now be number 27.
Okay. Anybody needs to recuse themselves from any resolution? Discussion on resolutions. Anybody in the public wish to discuss any of the resolution before the board today? Any member of the board wish to discuss any of the resolutions in your packet today? Seeing none. Guess we would vote.
Yep, no roll call unless anyone.
Is
wants
there
to.
any roll call votes requested on any of the resolutions today? Okay, I guess we'll vote on resolutions. All those in favor of the resolutions in your packet today, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's carried. Does anybody from the public wish to address the board on any topics? Any member of the Board of Supervisors wish to address the chair on any topic? Any announcements? Somebody must have something on the hockey team. Yes, go ahead, Amanda.
I have an announcement. There are several of you that have oaths of office to sign based on resolutions, appointing resolutions adopted today. So if you could see me after the meeting to sign those, I would appreciate it.
Somebody want to bring up the hockey team? They're doing pretty well. Matt?
They're I think one of the best records in the ECHL. They've had a number of sellouts. They've had a number of they've met their budget for each and every game that they've played, including like Wednesday night games. There's some special nights coming up. Military Appreciation Night, which they do. I think they've already done that, but Law Enforcement Night and a number of other charities that benefit from that. And the Kiwanis Club is having their annual duck race, virtual duck race on the Friday, the 25th or 26th. And I invite people to come to the game. It's a fun experience, family fun. You'll run into your neighbors, your friends, co-workers, and they also had a ventriloquist, Jeff Dunham, this past week. They had 5,000 people in there, and that's always good news.
Yeah, we could use some of his characters here.
And we'll have basketball in March, but that's an issue that I think as a county, we want to wrap our arms around and ensure that tournament remains here in Glens Falls. That's a big benefit to our local economy from throughout the Tri-County region.
And Mr. Moore has invited us. He's going to set up a tour for us to go down and look at Heritage Hall. You know, we provided funding to help them remodel Heritage Hall. So we're gonna pick a time when we can get most of the group together and take a tour of the facilities down there at Heritage Halls. Ed and Coalition is very grateful for the amount, how they work with the county, and he would like to, and he finished on time. We gave him September timeframe to get the job done. I believe he's gotten it done. So we need to set up a time for that. We'll try to get something that fits into most people's schedule. Any other announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I realized as I was going through my anniversary report that I missed the second page. I couldn't find it. So I do want to call out a few other additional supervisors. Jack Diamond at 6 years. Brad McGowan at 6 years. Mike Wild at 6 years. Dan Bruno at 4 years. Mike Gerasi at 2 and Deb Runyon at 2. And we have new members of our board with 0, but we hope that soon you will. Oh, and Ben Driscoll at 6. I said, all right. I apologize for that. I was missing a second page and I knew I missed some. So anyway, so good luck to those with 0 years. Thank you.
Did he mention Frank
So,
Thomas?
no other
Did he
announcements?
mention Frank
No other
Thomas?
comments
the
to
beginning?
the board? Motion to
Frank Thomas?
adjourn by Supervisor
He's
Conover.
got 20.
We are adjourned.